Hi! Starfield just got a massive update, and a lot of things are changing, lots of things that I can't believe they're actually adding. So, if you're new here and you love Starfield and all things Bethesda, please leave a like at the least and a sub at the most. And if you hate Starfield and want to go on down in the comments and tell me how I'm so wrong about something that I like and you don't, well, go right ahead, scream into the void, because no one cares to hear your negativity. Thanks so much, and let's do this.
Wanna be a renegade? Red wolf, red wolf renegade, red wolf renegade.
So I'm just going to read this straight from Bethesda.net and just look at all the notes and just read it and just sort of casually talk about what is new in this update. One of the first things that they talked about is the updated surface maps, and this is really big. It's funny because I remember playing Starfield for the first time and opening up that map menu and just seeing a big blue screen with a bunch of dots, and I was like, did it not load properly? I was really confused. So to see this is really exciting, and it's honestly something that I sort of pictured in my head when I imagined what they might do with it, but I pictured that it might still have that blue aesthetic, but just in a 3D rendered type way, and I can't believe they actually did that. So reading here, they say community feedback is a huge source of inspiration for the team at Bethesda Game Studios, and one of the most requested features has been more detailed surface maps, and the latest update delivers. These improved maps replace surface dots with terrain markings, which combined with actually seeing the points of interest on the map makes it much easier to see where you are and what's around you. Additionally, new markers have been added in the major cities to show the locations of vendors, and of these markers, they act as fast travel points, so you'll be able to head straight there very quickly. Just via your scanner or just the main map. So that's awesome. You can just pull up your scanner and look at an icon in the scanner and just teleport straight there, which is really cool for people who love that. And the map itself looks great. You can actually see where you are now. So big shout out to Bethesda for that little thing that should have been there at day one, but hey, it's a big game, whatever. The other big thing is the new gameplay options. This is like massive for me. I had to actually do some digging right after the video came out, where the video that you're seeing here, because I see an icon. They give this whole list of changes that you can do, and one that caught my eye says sustenance, and well, for people who want survival in their games, that's actually what that does. So it adds negative effects, or you can take away the negative effects and just have food where it just heals you, or you can have it to where if you don't eat or drink, that will be a negative trait added to your character, similar to how we see it in iNeeds and the Skyrim mod menu and whatnot. So I'm so happy to see that they're really finally starting to implement survival aspects into the game, and hopefully down the line we can see something like limited fast travel to make traveling around the galaxy feel more like you're actually on a journey instead of just pulling up a menu and just teleporting everywhere, even when you're not in your ship. So maybe they can add it to where you can only fast travel when you are in your ship, or something like that. Listen, I'm not a dev, okay, but some of these other options here are damage input and output. So basically you could turn yourself into a glass cannon and make the game feel a little more realistic, where you deal a ton of damage to the enemies, but you also take a lot of damage, so that way you're not dumping a ton of bullets into enemies who should otherwise be dead by a few shots. And that's just, again, me being obsessed with immersion and whatnot. They added things like aim assistance, ammo weight to add, again, more of that immersion to the game. Carry capacity was a huge thing that people talked about, and really glad to see that they just allow you to customize all of this in just a menu instead of just throwing you into a mode. It was something I never really thought about, that they would just say, you know what, you just do whatever you want. Make the game how you want. Here's a list of options. And each one of these options can either decrease or increase your XP depending on how easy or how hard you make it. So I love that there is some actual positive or negative effects depending on what you do with the settings. And the other things are like vendor credits, cargo access distance, food healing, and sleep healing, which I talked about that earlier. The sleep healing is actually something really interesting because it means that you can only heal certain afflictions if you sleep, and meaning sleeping in your outpost or your ship only, or in, depending on how you customize it, you could probably make it to where, you could just heal it by, taking a stim pack? No. What's it called? A med pack, whatever. Environmental damage afflictions, save on rest, save on weight, all the types of stuff that we have come to, know from Bethesda. So that was a lot to go through. I wanted to just sort of try to fly through it so we can get on to the other stuff. New ship interior customization. They say in Starfield, your ship is your home. The latest update takes that to a new level by expanding the amount of interior customizations you can do in your ship. The system is now very similar to how you decorate your outposts. The update also includes new, completely empty hab modules, allowing you to start your decorations from scratch. This also lets you play around with your ship's layout, with more openings available for doorways. And they also allow, basically, you have all these habs that have, they're all pre-furnished. And one of the frustrating things that a lot of players had is that whenever you're building your ship, you would see a pre-made hab with furniture and whatnot inside of it. And it wasn't until you actually put that piece onto your ship that you would have to walk in and see, I don't really like this. So they're actually adding the ability for you to put down empty habs and then put whatever you want in there, like they say here, the same way that you would in outpost building, which is amazing. So this is huge because shipbuilding is such a big deal for people who love Starfield. It's one of the things that I put way too much time into, and I'm really happy to see that they're adding this to just say, you know what, let them have fun with it, let them just make whatever they want, instead of us sort of trying to force them into a corner with our prefab habs. Another big thing is lots of frame rate stuff and prioritizing visuals and performance. So there's a lot here, but basically they say frame rate target. You can now choose between 30, 40, 60, or an uncapped frame rate on VRR displays. If you do not have a VRR display running 120 Hz, you will still be able to select from 30 or 60. Screen tearing may occur at times when selecting 60 on a non-VRR display. So that's great. There you go. There's your frame rate that everyone was wanting to see more options with at launch. So that's great for people who wanted that. So there's that. And at the default level, of course, you have prioritize, which you cannot prioritize between visuals and performance while trying to maintain the frame rate target. If you're choosing a frame rate target of 60 or above, they say that we recommend changing this to performance. Prioritizing visuals keeps the highest resolution while maintaining the full deal of the special effects, blah, blah, blah. You know that. Prioritizing performance lowers internal resolution and blah, blah, blah. And it makes the frame rate better, obviously. So that's awesome. Really happy for all that fun stuff. Moving on to New Game Plus trait respecking. Without going into spoilers, basically, there's the New Game Plus is it's very interesting, and they're adding more options for you in New Game Plus to where you can just respec your character, customize your appearance, without having to make a whole new character to begin with. And again, this is another little quality of life thing that I feel like should have been in the main game, but woulda, shoulda, coulda. I feel like that's not fair these days, but they're always going to keep adding to games like this, games from Bethesda even more specifically. So that's great. New Game Plus allows respecking and character customization after you begin New Game Plus. Quality of life improvements. In addition to the major features coming in this update, there are also a ton of quality of life improvements, like the ability to toggle the dialogue camera off. This is actually one of the big things that I remember seeing when I first saw the reveal for Starfield, and It's one of the things that bothered me the most. Honestly, it was like 2 things in the whole game that I was like, what is this, man? It just, for me, it feels very uncomfortable. I know it's very akin to Oblivion, and people love Oblivion and Fallout and whatnot. And that is how it sort of looked. So I know it's sort of like an homage there, but they're adding the option. So that's great, and it looks more like Skyrim, I think, now, where whenever you are talking to someone, the camera doesn't zoom in or out, it's just you just talking to them, and I love that. And the facial animations still look pretty good, and, you know, so that's just a little quality of life thing that I just was so happy that they threw in there. There are also new tabs in your container and barter menus, making it easier to see where you're navigating to when quickly cycling through menus. So I think that's great. I never really had too much of an issue with this, but I think there were a couple times, admittedly, where I wasn't sure if I was buying or selling or what category I was in, and so it's really nice they just keep adding these quality of life. And they say that the team is not slowing down with this update. There are some major features on the horizon, including a land vehicle, finally, which is cool. I know a lot of people really wanted that. Again, I never really felt the need for land vehicles, but I think, again, adding more options, I think, is really the key thing in this whole update. Just, we're not forcing anyone into anything, just do what you want. You don't have to engage with these features, but here they are for the people who want them, and it's so great to see that. So land vehicles are coming later on. We're not really sure when, but we do know that they, quote, the massive shattered space expansion is coming. So they say stay tuned in the next coming months for more news on both of those features in the Shattered Space DLC and the land vehicles. So that's fantastic, and that's pretty much everything. When I say pretty much everything, there's a ton there, and of course you can go to the website and see that on Bethesda.net, and the beta is already out. So if you're watching this video and you didn't know about this, well, now you can go play it right now, but it will release everywhere, including consoles, on targeted date of May 15th. So that's only less than 2 weeks away. So there you go. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Is this going to bring you back into Starfield? I know it is me. It's going to bring me right back in, baby. I can't wait to jump into the survival stuff too. That was sort of like a big flippin' deal for me. So yeah, really, really excited for this. What do you think? Tell me. Tell me. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for new and more Bethesda stuff. Thanks. Goodbye.